Right then. All right. So, um, getting everything loaded up. I think I got everything I need. What I typically do before I go on a trip or an adventure or something like that is I like to take a lot of breaks, sit down, think about what I got to bring along, and make sure that way I make sure I have everything, right? So that's what I've been doing, loading stuff up. I had some thunderstorms come through. To the south of me, there was a severe thunderstorm warning, so that was interesting. But I'm on the home stretch. I sent a message out to Phil telling him to hold off meeting me at the cafe for an hour, just because I didn't want to load up all my tools and equipment and shit in the rain. So he's cool with that. I don't think it's raining down there. I was looking at radar, and I don't think it's raining down there, but it sure as hell was up here. It poured. Now, that gives me a perfect opportunity to show you why I bought rock glue. Yeah, that's a glue that you spray on landscape rocks or gravel or something to lock it in place so it doesn't move. Whether you're walking on it, you can't drive on the stuff. That'll break down the glue bond, but you can walk on it, and it prevents erosion. So, as of last night when I went to bed, this driveway was perfect. I had taken care of the washout area, put the gravel back in its place. I packed it all down with the tires on the truck, using the truck like a steamroller. Yeah, it was good to go. But I just knew in my head if we got a big deluge that it would all wash out again. And I was right. Look what we got. Yep. So I got to deal with this. And eventually I'm going to have a French drain buried in the ground along the edge of the concrete, where the concrete meets the gravel. Yep, all the way along this edge. I'll have a drain trough in there that hopefully will direct the water out towards the lawn and away from the house, and it'll drain down to the lake. But for now, I got to come up with a temporary fix. So for now, and the ultimate fix is to pave this whole driveway. But that's a lot of asphalt. That's a big freaking driveway right there. Yep. So that's going to cost about 10 grand. But I now, since I made a $100,000 down payment, actually more than that, because I put $13,000 down initially, I have a lot of equity in this house. Yep. So I could take a home equity loan and pay for putting in a driveway and gutters on the house. Yep. That's the last thing I want to do, because I don't want to go back into debt. I just got out of debt. Yeah. So I don't want to go back in. Even though I was able to procure the dream lake house, I'm essentially still living paycheck to paycheck. Yeah. The bank was able to work with me and finagle away for me to own this and not have me what's called house poor. And that's a term. That's when somebody oversteps their bounds and buys a house that costs them damn near 3/4, if not more, of their income that they make a month. So their mortgage payment pretty much wipes them out, and they don't have money left over to live on. Now, it's the bank's responsibility when you go for a home loan to crunch the numbers and see if that's going to happen to you. but they don't do a deep dive, all right? So they don't ask for a list of your utility bills or they just look at what other debts you have. And then they look that you have to make a monthly payment on. And then they look at your monthly income. And they look at if you have to pay those debts based on your income, are you going to be able to afford the mortgage on a $350,000 house? That's how they do it. They don't consider fuel in your truck, food on your table, your cable bill, your cell phone bill, your light bill. They don't look at that. So it is very easy to get yourself in a situation where the bank will approve your loan based on the few variables that they look at, but then your house broke. Your income goes to paying all your other sundry bills, and you got nothing left over. Yeah. That's a very easy trap to get into. Biting off more than you can chew, buying more than you can afford. Just because the bank doesn't look at the whole picture. They don't microanalyze the situation. So, the situation I'm in now, even though the bank has refinanced this house with my dad's shadow investment in it, that's dropped my mortgage down to around $1,600 a month. I'm still, especially when we're slow at work and I'm not getting 40 hours a week, I'm still just scraping by. So this is why I'm in a quest to find a life partner that can monetarily contribute to the dream. Now, it's going to be a dream just as much for them as it is for me, right? I mean, they're not going to sit out on that screen porch overlooking the lake on a nice sunset and go, God, this is miserable. Why did I make this choice? Why am I here? No, they're not going to go out in a boat, get their string stretched and go, God, this sucks. I'd rather be home cleaning an apartment or cleaning my little house or taking care of my kids. No, they're going to love every second of being here. Yeah, so the quest for a life partner, that's what Tim's got next door here. Speaking of Tim next door, he has a Sasquatch that lives in his yard, a Bigfoot. See it? Stand on there. That's what they do. They freeze. So you don't really see them. You don't know what you're looking at, right? It just looks like a big brown blob in the woods. Could be a stump. Could be a pile of brush. You don't know. Well, yeah. He's got a Sasquatch. So, that lives in his yard. So I put up this sign just to warn people when they come to the house. Sasquatch crossing. You never know. He could decide to move, to unfreeze himself and come wandering across into my yard. And if he's, in a grumpy mood and he sees Jane, he could attack. Who knows? But anyway, so Tim over here, he's got a life partner. He's got a woman that's lived with him for years. They're life partners. They're not married. They both have different names. And that's how he's able to afford a pretty swank setup. It's a team event, right? So this is why I'm in this quest. I'm not, part of it is I want a partner here. I want a friend. I get lonely, There's only so much you can put up with that frickin' cat. It's so frickin' annoying. Oh, yeah. This morning at 2 a.m., she woke me out of a sound sleep. Something crashed upstairs in the great room. I flew out of my chair, put my shoes on, ran upstairs, and she was being a hellion and tearing around, and she had jumped up on something and knocked it down. So I'm throwing shoes at her, chasing her back downstairs. I put the baby gate up across the stairs. I'm like, no, you're not playing around up there. I got all my stuff stacked up in boxes, you know, and if she's jumping up on top of stuff, snooping around, I'm not going to tolerate her knocking something down and breaking it. No. So look at that lake after the storms came through. Wow. No fish feeding activity on the surface. But damn, some life partner is going to value that. Some qualified, worthy woman, not some psychotic shit show, is going to value that enough to join Kenny's team and provide him with happy endings and monetarily contribute to the dream. So that's what I'm holding out for, right? I just gotta find the right one. I gotta find one that's not crazy, straight up psycho. Yeah, I don't know. That's like looking for a needle in a haystack. But anyway, Tim's got a life partner there, and that's how they're able to afford living the dream. Yeah, so that's what I'm questing for as well. So anyway, after the rain stopped, I got all my tools and equipment and stuff loaded up. I now got to hook up the little trailer, which, according to my buddy Tony across the street down at the park, I don't need to bring the mowers. The grass looks fine. So I get to go down with an empty trailer, and I'm going to stop by Home Depot on the way down, pick up the 2 boards that I need for the beams on the ceiling, pick up another bundle of trim boards, and haul those with me down to the turd, and that'll be the project for Sunday. Hopefully Saturday evening after Phil leaves. Got a hummingbird. He likes my red hat. Go ahead. He's checking out my mushroom. Curious little critters. I love them. Can't put up hummingbird feeders though. I'll have bears in my yard climbing up the side of my house trying to get at them, knock them down. Damn it. Don't have that problem in the park, which is why I had hummingbird feeders, and that was cool. I love hummingbirds. But anyway, Phil, after he cuts out today to go roller skating, I'm gonna work on the beams. Now I changed. I'm never using landscape timbers again. Oh my God, that's a nightmare. Yeah, they're so heavy, they're so awkward. They're only 8 foot long, which means I have to make a lap joint to join 2 of them together to span a 12-foot room. They look cool, but no. So I'm using 2x6s like I did in the bedroom here, and it looks really cool. So that's what I'm gonna do in the kitchen. So I'm gonna stop and buy at Home Depot and get 2x6s, high grade 2x6s, and a bundle of trim boards. And tonight, after he leaves, once this weather stabilizes, I'm gonna rusticate, stain, and have those ready. And then tomorrow morning, I'll put a coat of poly on them, or 2 coats of poly, and let that dry, because that dries pretty quick, especially if it's sunny. And then I'll have those installed on the ceiling by the time I leave the turd tomorrow. I'm hoping to leave around noon so that I can get back up here to the lake house, offload my tools, and have some R&R time. Relax, either go fishing or sit out on that porch like I find myself doing all the time. But yeah, I gotta deal with this. So you see all the weeds? Yeah, they're dying, but they're not dying very fast. The weed killer advertised, oh yeah, you'll see results in an hour. It's been a day and a half, all right? Now, I think I know what I did wrong. I used a 2-gallon pump sprayer, because that's what I have, and I mixed it at a ratio for 1 gallon. So it's a weak solution. So I'm literally going to have to redo it. But when I go to Menards or probably the dollar store, I got to go to the dollar store today when I'm down by the turd to get more, to wipe them out of cat food. I'll pick up a gallon or two of vinegar and some bulk salt so that I can make my natural weed killer solution. And I'll start using that. Yeah. Instead of the expensive Roundup stuff. So anyway, but I gotta go back over everything because it's not dying. Yeah, especially the crabgrass. It's not dying. So I gotta have these weeds gone before I can spray the glue on the rocks. Damn it. So, best laid plans of mice and men. All right, so I'm gonna get on the road here. Phil's gonna meet me at the diner. I'm gonna pay for his breakfast. It's the least I could do for him riding his motorcycle up here and helping me out for 3/4 of the day. And we're gonna get some shit done. Finally. Finally. I've been thinking long and hard, that's what she said, about that kitchen, about the counters in that kitchen. And I think I've decided I'm going to do the tile method to put countertops in there. I'm going to use the existing plywood that they made the countertops out of as a base. And I'm going to buy boxes of tile, 1-inch square tile. They come glued to a mat, a woven mat, and you just lay the sections of tile down as a 1-inch or a 1-foot square mat, and you lock them all together. And then you smother them with grout. Then you wipe off all your grout, and there you go, instant countertop. But the section that's over by the sink is crooked. Apparently, one of the phenomenons with this particular brand manufacturer of trailer mobile home that I have is the outer edges of the building where all of the weight load is because of the wall and the roof, they sag over time. Yeah, so the floor becomes arched like this, and up against your walls you'll find that cabinets won't go flat to the wall because the wall is actually sitting like this. So the counters that run along the north wall of the trailer are tipped down like this. Yeah, toward the wall. They've settled. Well, that being what it is, I'm not just going to tile over the top of it. It's so obvious. You can see it with your eye. So I'm going to have to take plywood, put it over the top of that existing counter, shim it up in the back so that it's level, and then put the tile on. So this means I'm going to have to take the sink out of the hole in the countertop, raise it up. I'll have to totally disconnect the sink and remove it. Put a new piece of plywood over the top of the existing counter. Put shim blocks in the back up against the wall to bring it up level. Drop the sink back in after I put the tile in on top of that. Put a backsplash on. Yeah. Yep. So, but we're almost there. We're on the home stretch, so to speak. So I'm gonna hook up the trailer, and I'm gonna get this party started. And I'll set you up and kind of show you what we're doing when we get to the house. I'll show you why it's a two-man job with what I needed Phil for today, and we'll go from there. So stay tuned.